Hey everybody, Tony George, DocSports.com. What's up? NFL Week 6 opening line report. This is the raw and candid Tony George, just giving you initial reactions, not picks, unless I say so. Something make a move on something. But just initial reactions to the opening lines this week in the NFL after Monday Night Football, after San Francisco absolutely waxed 4 units, I might add, the Cleveland Browns. And yes, a little bit of formal attire here as I just got done taping the 10 and 10 and the marquee matchups with Scott Spreitzer, which will be out tomorrow. So be sure and be looking for those in the daily pick section, the NFL, college football. Got it all for you. Sexy week in college football and a lot of cool games. And we're going to break down the Red River rivalry for you. Red River War, Red River Showdown between Texas and Oklahoma. And talk about the Kansas City game with Texans in the marquee matchup. But nonetheless here, these are my initial reactions. Again, a couple guys drinking a beer, taking a pee over a fence post, just shooting the breeze about the NFL. And here we go on Thursday night with the New England Patriots taking on the New York Giants, the G-Men. That defense didn't look very good against Minnesota, whose offense really has kind of been in a funk all year. I don't know what Tom Brady and boys are going to do. 16.5, and the total is 42.5. And again, I've been riding the under whenever New England is a double-digit favorite. I think they're, don't quote me, 13-0, if I'm not mistaken, for the game on the under. I had them under last week. In that game they had last week, I had them under. I mean, the story you're missing about New England is their defense is really good this year. And their offense, okay. They didn't play anybody. Still haven't played anybody. New England didn't play. The only team they played where the darn was Buffalo, and look at that. Maybe if Allen didn't go down in that game, Buffalo might have beat them. They only scored 16 in that game. Just saying. Tampa Bay taking on Carolina. Tampa Bay at home. Carolina laying 2. Total 48. I think that total's a little high. Side play almost too close to calling that one. McCaffrey had a big day last week. He will not have that big a day against Tampa's defense, I can tell you that. Cincinnati, Baltimore at home, laying 11.5, 48. Boy. Division game. Looks too easy to take Baltimore, doesn't it? Seattle, Cleveland. Seattle was 2.5, and now they're +1 at home against Seattle. I don't think the season's lost for Cleveland, but I think if they lose this one, it might be. They just got gauged last night on the ground. In Seattle, one of the higher scoring offenses in the NFL, actually. They just, without a lot of superstars other than Wilson, they just find ways to win. Very well coached by Pete Carroll and staff. Very well coached. What can you say about Cleveland? Are they very well coached? No. Short week against a good team. I can only look at Seattle there. Kansas City, Houston. Broke that down for you in the marquee matchup. Kansas City's a walking wounded, and Mahomes will not be 100%. And you're talking about a team that has massive issues on the defensive line. They can't stop the run when they're fully healthy. Houston's 10th in the league at running the football. You're laying 5. Remember, you're betting numbers and not betting games. 5's a bad number. And I'll tell you one thing right now. Kansas City, if Mahomes cannot move around the pocket, buy time, and create, they have trouble. And they can't, and they're not running the football. You have to run the football in the NFL. And don't think of O'Brien, who's the offensive coordinator basically at Houston, doesn't know that he can gauge Kansas City right on the ground up the middle. And with Watson to run around, playing play action off that, plus his ability to run around, that's not going to be an easy game for Kansas City. Jacksonville is taking on New Orleans. Jacksonville's laying a point here. You know, I thought if the New Orleans Saints could play 500 ball with Breeze out, they might still be in the playoff hunt. They're 3-0. 3-0. What's the total in that one? 44.5. That might go under. I don't know. That line stinks to high heaven. Stinks to high heaven. How many times have I said this on video? If it looks like a dog turd and smells like a dog turd, it usually is a dog turd. That's one if you go up the window, you just kind of swallow and bet Jacksonville. Philadelphia, Minnesota, no comment. This is going to be my top play of the weekend. Top play of the weekend. We're going to get it done in the NFL. 3-2 last week. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. I want a 4-0, 5-0 week in the NFL, and this is going to be one of my key plays in the NFL. The line is Minnesota -3, and the total is 44. Washington, Miami. Bye, Jay Gruden. See ya. Who wants to coach for Daniel Snyder? Bill Callahan? Washington's a dumpster fire, laying 3.5 on the road. Miami's off a bye week. Who's going to score in that game? Who's going to score? Total's 41. Under. San Francisco taking on the Rams. This game has a lot of implications for both these teams. This is a divisional game. The Niners, I think, are them and the Patriots, the only two undefeated team in the NFL. Now, what they put up against a poorly coached Cleveland team probably will not be the same game they put up against the Rams. And bear in mind, the Rams have never lost 3 in a row under Sean McVay. That line's 3.5. San Francisco, I do believe, is the real deal. They're a really good football team. Their running game may have taken a hit with, and his name escapes me, number 44, who went out with a knee injury. But they're running the old pro-I thing. Without him, the running game changes a little bit. It means they're going to have to depend on Garoppolo more. And his passes, while his numbers look good, he's hasn't been that sharp. Neither's Goff. 3.5, total 50.5. Maybe the defense has come to play here. This could easily be a 17-14 ball game. And that being said, that hook might come into play. It might come down too. If you like the Niners, you're going to want to bet them right now with that hook. Atlanta, Arizona. Atlanta is on the road laying 2.5 points. Why? Why? What the hell's Atlanta doing laying 2.5? Back-to-back roadies. Arizona, confidence-building win, even though it was against Cincinnati. Arizona's going to put up points in this game. Battle of two ugly teams. Atlanta is a massive disappointment, and I'm sick of hearing about how great Atlanta is, how talented their team is. Quinn can't coach. Cutter can't call an offensive game plan to save his ass. Honestly, I want nothing to do. What's the total on that? 51.5. I don't know. Atlanta gave up more than that last week. Tennessee, Denver. Denver laying 2.5. Tennessee, I can't figure out. I literally cannot figure out Tennessee. One week their offense is like this. The next week their offense is like that. They're all over the board. Can't put your finger on them. Can't put your finger on them. Denver, I mean, they dominated the Chargers last week. They kind of fulfilled a promise. Defense showed up. Offense clicked with Flacco. Laying less than 3 at Mile High. I don't know. I could only look Denver. Total 39. I think that's the lowest total on the board. That is the lowest total on the board right now. 39. Pittsburgh and the LA Chargers laying 6.5. Don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be in Pittsburgh. I don't want to lay 6.5 with the Chargers. I don't. I mean, bear in mind, Pittsburgh has talent. They're going to be playing a third-string quarterback, more than likely. See that hit Rudolph took? Didn't even know what area code he was in. The chance of him showing back up and playing this weekend, or being effective with any preparation at all, are slim or none. That's why that number is where it's at. I don't want anything to do with this game because I'm not laying 6.5 with the Chargers. Told you last week in the NFL line report, I wasn't going to lay that number with the Chargers. They got beat straight up. And they're at home and they suck in that stadium. You don't think Steeler fans are going to fill that place up? I don't know. I don't want anything to do with it. Total 41.5. Monday Night Football. Green Bay laying 5 to Detroit. Total 47. Tell you what, you can go down and look at past scores for the last 6-7 years. Detroit always gives Green Bay a football game. Gave Kansas City all they wanted. Green Bay off a huge game. I'll guarantee you one thing, they won't run like that on Detroit. They came up with a good defensive game plan against Kansas City, didn't they? They just turned the ball over too much. And they've had a full week off to get ready for this one. And Green Bay off just a butt whipping at Dallas. Strange things happen at Lambeau Field on Monday night, and strange things happen in that division, and strange things always happen when these two hook up. And bear in mind, Matt Stafford is a very, very good quarterback. Just some initial thoughts. A couple guys drinking a beer at a sports bar, waiting for the game to come on. Talking about this week in the NFL. Get over to DocSports.com. We got a free $60 for you in that link below. You can get hooked up with a new account at Docs if you've never been over there. Tons of free information. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have some solid picks for you this upcoming Sunday in the NFL.